begin the recording. Good evening. It's so great to have you all here. So this is our final RIGEN event for the spring semester here at Santa Fe Community College, and we're really glad to have you join us again. I think you've all been with us at least for one other event this spring, and we're grateful for your participation. As we have shared, we are putting together a lineup for the fall semester, and we have some great people lined up. We're not quite ready to release their names and dates and times yet. It will continue to be on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Through the fall, so we'll look forward to giving you that information soon. But I will put a link in the chat tonight so you can sign up for the fall series. Once we finish out tonight, we'll end this mailing list and we'll be starting another one for the fall series. So please sign up and please share the link with friends and family who may be interested in joining us. So tonight, again, I will turn things over to Austin one more time. Austin is a faculty member in creative writing at SFCC and has been working hard through the semester and is working hard for our fall semester as well to bring together some amazing writers to share their creative work with us. And we hope you will join us in the fall. So please give it up for Austin.
Thank you, Val. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to everyone. This creative session is brought to you by the Santa Fe Community College Library and Creative Writing Program. We're thrilled to have you join us tonight for this special reading event. We hope you'll come back to celebrate the power of words and storytelling at our future events. Tonight's gathering is an invitation to those who have passion for the written word. If you've ever dreamed of becoming a writer, whether you'd like to craft compelling fiction, pen evocative poetry, or explore the world of nonfiction, SFCC is awaiting your arrival. In our program, students can earn a certificate or an associate's degree in English language creative writing. The Santa Fe Community College Creative Writing Program nurtures aspiring writers, providing them with the tools, guidance, and inspiration to take their creative endeavors to new heights. We believe that writing is not only a useful and practical skill, but an art form that has the potential to transform lives and connect people across time and space. SFCC's creative writing program is focused on your development as a writer, a reader, and a member of a creative community. Our faculty are published authors and professional editors, and our course offerings include a multi-genre workshop and an internship with the Santa Fe Literary Review, SFCC's in-print literary journal. Related degree and certificate requirements include opportunities to intern with local magazines, newspapers, and publishing houses, to explore the world of book arts, and to hone screenwriting skills. Students work closely with professors and peers to develop, revise, and publish creative and academic writing in a range of genres and formats. Upon completion, you'll have gained the skills and experience to submit a manuscript for publication, pursue a career in editing, or continue your studies in creative writing. You can also now complete the entire program online. Please see the chat for links to our program website, where you can see our course offerings for fall 2025, explore the program requirements, find information about the Santa Fe Literary Review, and about the Kate Besser Awards, SFCC's very own writing awards. For those of you considering your own creative writing journey, we encourage you to ask any questions you have about the program. Whether you're an experienced writer looking to take a single course or a complete novice ready to explore your creative potential, we have classes and resources for you. In Santa Fe Community College's creative writing program, we believe that everyone has a story and every story is worth sharing. Tell us yours. So tonight we're going to do our end of semester reading. We were thinking, as usual, it's us, it's the community college. We're going to keep it just a little bit informal. That's an attitude we like here. So if you'd like to read, please just put your name in the chat so that we'll have everybody's name in order. And then we'll just go through the order that people sign up. And we're really excited to hear your work. Would anyone like to go first? Bonnie, jump on in for us. Thank you.
I didn't know it was going to be that quick. Talk amongst yourselves while I pull this up.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, thank you for being our first volunteer, for volunteering as tribute. It is difficult to be the one who puts the first hand up. I appreciate it.
Right. Okay. Got it. This is a piece that I wrote a while back, but after talking with Alfredo and having him give us those lovely prompts, it reminded me of that I had written something similar. So Linda, who I grew up across the lake with, will recognize this, will recognize the names and the scenes. She doesn't remember the event, but I remember it as if it happened, but perhaps I dreamed it. It's called Billboard. The billboard on Highway 441 has been abandoned for some time now. The old ad for Cottrell Marine and Tackle Shop stands as a sentry to the city limits, its faded wallpaper-like strips hanging down like whispers of forgotten love letters. I notice it now because the graffiti is covering the lower portion of the display. Black spray paint and chaotic scribbles bear resemblance to kudzu vines and call attention to the neglected image still slightly visible. 3 days later, I helped pull ladders out of Neil and Peggy's station wagon and Mr. Bishop's truck as the youth group gathers at the foot of the structure. 12 of us, dressed all in white, will give new life to this carcass. Standing at the edge of an orange grove, we unload gallons of white paint, donated by my father from his hardware store. There's excitement and a collective energy surging amongst us. Ladders in place, paint buckets and rollers in hand, we climb toward heaven on a mission to make all things new. With wild and reckless laughter, we pull the faded strips from their spray-painted prison and thank them for their service. The grown-ups get to climb high, which we all think is unfair, but standing on that lower platform, I can see the edge of the world. By the end of the day, the billboard is restored to its original blank canvas, and there's more paint on our clothes and faces than on the initial objective. Our group and its mission make the front page of the Lake County Sentinel. A photo shows us laughing, paint-covered teenagers on ladders, arms slung around each other, believing we have the power to change the world. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember that, Bonnie. So,
That would be a good one to remember.
yes, it would
Yeah.
have been. Yes, indeed.
Small town, we had a church youth group, did a lot of stuff. And billboards got painted and cleaned off. And then there were some wilder things that don't get reported.
Now that's the story I want to hear. Maybe next semester we'll get that story.
Yeah.
All right, Val, would you like to read for us?
Yeah, this was also inspired by Alfredo's prompts. This is from my childhood map. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger so I can read it. Okay, it's called Summer Morning. Rosebud, that is my bike's name. I didn't choose the name, it came with the bike. It's white, it has a banana seat and nubby tires. It sits in the garage next to my mom's car, unless I'm riding it. I roll up the garage door, hop on my bike, and head up Winter Avenue, past the Mulcocks, past Lester's house where I smell pancakes, past Haley's house. I see her bedroom curtains are open, and I can see her brother Eddie's head, up and down, jumping on the trampoline in the backyard. Making a loop at the street's dead end, I turn back down the street, passing the Bruscuses, the Bickles, past the garden homes, flying by little Bub playing wiffle ball in the green grass. I pass by my house, and on the corner I see Mrs. Lehman watering the trees. At the intersection, I make a wide left turn onto San Pablo, pass the bus stop, and make a quick turn onto Summer Avenue. I hear Sherry Berry laughing as I roll and begin my slow climb up to the back of the neighborhood. I pass my sister and Laura playing on the Mox driveway, past Lindsay tossing her baton, past Misty's brothers throwing rocks in a metal bucket. Pushing uphill, I turn onto Dallas, where I catch my breath on the flats before heading down Mountain Road. I pedal slowly past the burned house, the one with the green door and the slanted roof. The melted refrigerator is gone from the front yard. Even though the fire was long ago, I can smell a burnt taste in the back of my throat. Will it always be here like this? Taking the curve down mountain, I near Louis Chalamides' house, and I wish I could play with his Royal Kingdom Adventure Castle, but his parents won't let him play. I turn left onto Grove, pedaling uphill, more determined now. Past the hustler's house, I hear a piano lesson. I pass Mark and Grant's house at the top of the street. The wheelbarrow out front reminds me of the hole we are digging to the center of the world through their backyard sandbox. I wiggle steer the bike across Marble Avenue up into the bowling alley's back parking lot. Circling through the empty parking spaces, I breathe deeply the bowling alley smell. A smell I imagine comes from rented white shoes that tap on wood floors, or maybe the smell comes from the machine that sets up the pin so perfectly. It's a sweet smell that I love. With a couple more turns, I'm out of the parking lot and on the downward slope through the middle of the neighborhood. There are no cars, no kids, no parents, no one to stop me. I pedal to gain speed until my feet spin like I'm pedaling on a cloud. My hair blows as my bike races down San Pablo. A light howl of air blows past my ears, blurring by houses, the bus stop, the green trash bags waiting to be picked up. Sherry Berry's golden dog, free from his yard, joins me in the rush, galloping and panting as we go as fast as we can. We speed toward Constitution Avenue, passing the Vernon's driveway and coming to the end of the street. The dog makes 2 circles around me and turns to run home. I pop off over the blacktop, over the curb, and skid onto the mesa. Off in the distance, I see older boys gathered on the dirt bike hills. I don't recognize any of them. I slowly pedal across the dirt, over to the low cinder block wall near the freeway. I get off my bike, hit the kickstand, and sit on the wall. The rush of interstate cars billow by behind my back. I stare off over the hills, and I wait for the boys to leave.
Val, I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. That was really wonderful. That was
Thank
really,
you.
really great. We need,
Inspiring.
yeah.
Well, it's Alfredo, and the whole
Yeah.
idea of a map. I just love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where did that take place, Val?
in Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. I
Yeah.
recognized the Constitution, but then I wasn't sure about
Yeah.
the other.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, I love the ending so much. Oh my gosh. Carolyn.
Hi.
Hi.
Boy, Alfredo was pretty inspirational, right? So, yeah, last night I read the vignettes he forwarded from the house on Mango Street. I was blown away.
That book is incredible. The whole book is absolutely
Mm.
incredible and so easy to read. If you haven't read the whole thing, please pick it up.
I'm definitely going to. So I wrote this today. I have 5 little vignettes, but I'm just going to read the first 2. First one is elementary school. When I was 10, I went on my first overnight camping trip with my Girl Scout troop. We went to Hog Hill, which was only a few miles away from my house, still in the village of Chappaqua, but I didn't know it was so close by at the time. It felt far enough away that it necessitated a preparatory visit to a grubby supply store in Mount Kisco for me to purchase an aluminum mess kit. If I line the pieces up just right, the plate, bowl, cup, and utensils all fit inside of each other, like my puzzle ring. You screwed the set shut with a side clamp. You'd never use the mess kit inside of your house. It was just for camping. My mom took a photo of us girls with her Konica camera before we headed off to the suburban wilderness. The photo is in an old scrapbook of mine, which is really just a denim-covered 3-ring binder with sticky pages that are now covered with dried out yellowed plastic. The 7 of us are lined up in front of Debbie Shaleski's mother's wood-paneled station wagon that was parked in her driveway. Mrs. Shaleski was our troop leader and taught me how to build a fire that weekend. My hair is the same length as it is now, and I've never been without bangs. I'm wearing jeans and a white t-shirt. A red and white paisley pattern bandana is jauntily tied around my neck. That's a timeless look, I think to myself when I look at that photograph now. Middle school. I quit Girl Scouts the next year in 6th grade because I felt too embarrassed to wear the uniform to middle school every Wednesday for our weekly after-school meetings at Mrs. Shaleski's house. You had to wear the uniform to meetings because it wasn't a camping trip. The uniform was a dull mint green cotton dress that buttoned up the front and had a lapel collar. It was short. I think there were matching knee socks. A sash with your merit badges that your mother had painstakingly sewed on by hand. A forest green felt beret for your head. I think the beret was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. The uniform was acceptable fashion in 5th grade when I was in the oldest class in elementary school, but it was totally nerdy the following year once I graduated to be in the youngest class at the middle school. Quitting Girl Scouts was the only alternative. It wasn't an option to bring my Girl Scout uniform to school and change into it later. No one changed into anything, even for gym class. We didn't perspire yet. Students today carry backpacks to school that fit all kinds of gear, but in 1974, backpacks were only used for camping, like a mess kit. We cradled our textbooks and our brown paper lunch bags in our arms as we boarded the school bus. If you had a diorama or a poster board project, your mom would drop it off in the main office. Who knows what the kids who had working mothers did? They probably moved out of Chappaqua. Once you got off the bus, you made a beeline for your locker to store your stuff. The 8th graders were always on the lookout for vulnerable 6th graders carrying stacks of books. Dumping books was a special skill in which a sharp, quick, strategically timed karate chop to the center of the top tome propelled the unwitting students' books down 3 flights of stairs through the center opening of the stairwell. If you were a smart 6th grader, you only carried the one book you needed for your next class, so you weren't a target. Just like burglars are less likely to rob houses that advertise alarm systems, 8th graders would leave you alone if you were unencumbered. Blending in was the badge that I needed. A short dress that the boys could see up from below in the stairwell would be problematic. I mean, we know now that it's the boys who do that are problematic, not the girls who wear the clothes, but that's a losing battle. Like I said, it was the beret that was going to be a beacon signaling my strangeness.
That was great. Thank you so much, Carolyn. And I could hear that you had read House on Mango Street before. There was a similarity in the voice. It was really nice. It was really great.
And anyone who's been in Girl Scouts in the 60s and 70s, I'm dating myself, but yeah, that's exactly the experience of uniforms and yeah.
Very
having to wear-
relatable. Yes.
Yeah, very much so. And there were knee socks, in fact, that went, and they had little yellow tassels on the sides, if you remember, to go with the yellow in the.
Don't forget the sash.
Oh yeah, the sash and the beret and yeah, the old days.
You had the beret as well?
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sadly, the worst pictures ever taken of me are in my uniform. So,
mine too.
and that's saying a lot.
Class pictures in the uniform. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
A beret is quite a statement, you know. Renee, would you like to read for us?
Everybody, I'm Renee. Thanks so much for having me. I've enjoyed this so much. And this is really different for me. I've been writing for my whole life and not sharing it anywhere. So, um, this is something I wrote in 2020 during the lockdown, and it was after a series of conversations with my brother, or brothers actually. My brother was here last week. I don't know if you remember, he read his thing that he wrote was about, like, you know, the dirt road and the falling off the bike and all that stuff. So you might remember his style. This is a poem that I wrote for him that's meant to be in his voice from his perspective. So I'll read it sort of in that style, and I've never read it out loud before, so bear with me. I feel sweaty. It's called Where Three Rivers Meet. Down Feather Road, nee Route 5, Box 36A, in the shadow of the hillside with the big P, beneath the Camposanto where the three rivers meet, in the valley where my leg snapped, my arm gashed, my head bashed, my dreams dashed, my melanin stashed, so many colors in my ancestry past. This Jufrog is what you get when the paintbrush has been mashed. Yerba sanctuaries, flash flood arroyos, giant balloons propelled by fire, my fledgling imagination barely more colorful than reality. Obedient altar server at the Nuestra Senora, Our Lady, for Father Tom, holy lie preserver. Under the mantle of snow, making pristine all the wrongs done behind adobe walls. Walking cold Good Friday miles to atone for Thursday parenting styles. Got to figure out how to survive this holy city. My new alma mater named after Spanish men who slaughter. Crawling with boys who march in holy processions on Sunday, then smoke and shank in the schoolyard on Monday. A weekly cultural cleansing, chingazos dispensing, juvenile simian fencing. These chavalos who don't know their ass from their elbows, who fear and loathe their drunken fathers and then become them, who take refuge in the flower-dusted skirt hems of their abuelas. Do I have to be one of these boys too? Who are made to appear as men but whimper inside like puppies, made to don the ancient armor of a conquistador and then parade in the town square on a high horse looking down at weeping natives? Alongside a ripe young fiesta reina, hand-selected from the masses at one chaste and seductive, a mere facsimile of a woman, a boy in a costume with a mere facsimile of honor. Mom, is this what I should do? Should I do it for Dad, or for me, or for God, or for you? I've got to get up north to Denver or Minneapolis, heck, the North Pole, somewhere I can bare my soul, a place where all my broken bones become whole. Vaya con Dios, primos. I shall miss the thunder cracks and the smell of newly wet soil and distant tortillas leaping from their cast iron skillets. And caballos who count in Spanish, alongside chained demon dogs who lunch on my sister's kittens. Mad question asking, white passing, Mom, am I a person of color? And so are my sister and brother. Can I be a baller and a poet and a scholar? Is my home a place on the land, or is it in mi corazón and living in my helping hands? Is shape shifting my blessing or my curse? Sometimes living divided be the worst. I take questions like this to my hearse. Will my son wander and ponder which color is righter or wronger? Or will his sacred heart burn like his father's, secure in the knowledge that we coyotes are stronger? Come as you are, mi gente. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. These Estados Unidos gonna need to do more. January 20th be the day I was born. El trompo, pinche cabrón, don't let your ass hit the door. I'm not tired, mi gente. I'll do my mental layups. While the world stays on lockdown, I'll travel the world in my mind. A masked crusader at your service.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you
Thank you.
for sticking through it. Sometimes when you're reading, it's like, oh,
Thank you.
hello, emotions. I didn't expect you to come in right now.
Totally. Thank you.
That was
And your
wonderful.
rhyme was just beautiful. I loved tracing that through there. Thank you for that. It's great.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
was very strong.
Mhm.
And you read it out loud just perfectly, even though that was the first time. Yeah, that was absolutely stunning. So thank you.
Yeah, it just begs to be read out loud.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
with the emotion, it made it even more powerful.
Mhm. Mhm.
Has your brother heard it or read it?
Yes, in fact, he made a similar poem for me.
Oh,
And we
Whoa.
exchanged these for our birthdays in 2020 in a parking lot when we couldn't see each other in person.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
cool. And I love that with Alfredo, his was so sort of localized, and the one that you wrote is so sort of far reaching. It's like his hand reaching out.
Mm,
Really great. Yeah, thank
yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah. The bilingual is
you.
also very forceful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
So,
I think Alfredo really inspired us all because I'm also going to read a piece inspired by Alfredo's talk and the childhood map. I sort of zeroed in on one location on my map, so I didn't travel the whole map. I just wrote about one little piece. But this is called Mowing the Lawn, and that is the title and the first line. So. And as Renee said, I have not read this out loud, and it's one really long sentence. So please bear with me. I'm gonna like pause and gasp a little bit as I'm going through. Mowing the lawn was never my favorite chore, but it paid well and kept me tan as I wore no shirt over my older brother's gym shorts from the 70s, my hairless chest and thighs browning in the sun like chicken skin in the oven, as I listened to Liz Phair and Eve and No Doubt loud enough to hear every syllable over the lawnmower, which was old as the shorts and bellowed like a jet engine as I danced along the even rows and columns I cut on the slanted lawn. And I only slipped occasionally, didn't grasp for years that my foot could have been lost to the lawnmower, the same way my friend's 3 fingers went when he was a toddler, and he still hides the half digits on his one hand like a venomous secret he highlights by openly bathing it in shadow. Yet the memories are strange because my mother later didn't want me to drive and figured out how to get me a college dorm without a roommate to prevent me from being assigned a homophobe. But the summer days leading up to those years, she sat inside with iced tea and murder mystery novels on the couch as I slipped on the grass outside, ran over an annual nest of yellow jackets, tripped and emptied my lungs on the steel handle, dug my fingers into rich soil when I fell to keep my sambas from the spinning blades below the heavy machine, which moved fast enough to fling blood clear to the picture windows by Mom's quietly reading eyes, not yet ready to see what might wound me. Thank you. Thank you. I was obviously because it was from Alfredo's, it's pretty fresh. So thank you. I was a little nervous about reading it.
Thank
no,
you,
those are
Austin.
great memories of, I know Bonnie and I each mowed yards in our Florida homes. And that's right. You run over yellow jackets and you fall in places you didn't know that, that are muddy or sticky and slick. And yeah. And parents are sitting inside in the air conditioning. Yeah. Iced tea, TV, mystery books.
Right. It
Yeah.
was worth the money, I guess. I don't know.
I hope so.
Let's see. Jennifer, would you like to read for us?
All right, so this is also inspired by Alfredo's prompt for our map and place. So the title is Smooth as Glass. It felt like it took forever for the hole we dug with the backhoe to fill with water and become a pond. After 2 years, the water was only a foot deep. As if there to pray for it to fill, my father and sister and I looked at the big empty hole at the edge of the woods, heads bowed. My mother was inside, and we were glad because we joked that if she came out and saw us looking at the hole, she would say, "I told you so." But the 4th summer, the pond filled with water, and my father, in a rare turn of events, got to say to my mother, "I told you so." Once winter came, the pond froze completely before there was any snow. The ice was as clear as window glass. At night, shining flashlights through it, we could see water skimmers still moving around. The ice would never again be as perfect as it was that first winter when it was so slick and smooth you couldn't walk across it in boots. If you tried, you ended up like a cartoon character, flailing arms and legs like windmills. When you fell, it hurt more than it looked like it did on TV. My father looked at the ice and said, "This is a perfect pond for hockey." He took us to the sporting goods store, and we brought home multicolored pucks and sticks of all sizes, even a couple of lefties. My sister and I traded our figure skates for hockey skates. They took getting used to, and oh, how I missed the toe pick, at least at first. My father didn't buy us pads or helmets. After all, this was just backyard pond hockey. He liberated 2 sawhorses from his woodshop for goals. He cut a log into a series of 2-foot-long sections to make seats for when we changed into our skates at the edge of the ice. Our pond became the place to be after school and on weekends. When it snowed, it wasn't just me and my sister, but all our friends rushed out to shovel the ice off before the snow melted on the bottom and ruined the surface. We got to be pretty good hockey players with all that practice. One midwinter weekend, our friend Bobby came home from the Coast Guard Academy. He had heard about the pond hockey games and came to find us. He looked almost the same with his freckles and big smile, but his blonde hair was cut short. His skates were dangling over his shoulder. He even brought his own stick, which made sense when he told us he was a starter for his hockey team. Turned out we were not as good players as we thought we were. Bobby did us the favor of not choosing to be on one team or the other. Instead, he skated around us in circles and effortlessly stole the puck anytime he wanted. He easily made a goal for whichever team was down a point. He kept the score perfectly, even until it was too dark to keep going. Bobby was the boy who played fair. He had been valedictorian, editor of the yearbook, prom king, senior class president, and then a Coast Guard hockey star. But that year, the kid who never lost couldn't win against cancer. He found that out around the same time the last of the ice in the pond melted that spring. He was the first kid I knew who died, and I didn't know what to do about it. Not that there's anything to actually be done. The following winter, home from college myself, I didn't skate at all. Part of it, I think, was paying penance for still being alive. And part of it was I didn't want to risk replacing my memory of Bobby skating with us on smooth as glass ice as if he had nowhere else in the world he needed to be.
Thank you, Jen. That was really, really wonderful. That was really tender. Oh, you got me. Jen's in class with me, so she knows I don't normally react quite this emotionally. But oh, that was really wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, I really like the part about paying penance. You know, I think that we all tend to do that even subconsciously when there's a tragedy or a loss. So yeah, that was very, very touching.
Thank you.
Linda, would you like to read for us?
I will be happy to. It's not terribly long, and it is inspired by place, but not necessarily a neighborhood map. It's called Hearts on the Mountain. Hearts on the Mountains. In the dead of winter, when deep snow has fallen and darkness draws heavily upon us, I pause when each year I see the 2 hearts on the Sangre de Cristo mountainside, large crevices etched into the stubborn stone, where lesser rocks long ago lost their bearings. Snow fills their enormous cavities in shapes of compassion, one next to the other, nature herself adapting our own imagery to sustain our flagging spirits. By mid-May, the hearts disappear, but I await their return in October's first frost and welcome them back in December. So
That was great. Thank you.
Thank
That was really
Beautiful.
lovely. I love short pieces with a good punch. I think during my flash fiction talk, I talked about there's two kinds of prize fighters. There's a boxer who takes every single round to wear down his opponent, and then there's the one who just needs one hit. I like that one hit. Would anyone else like to read? Rachel, Emily, Nancy. I know you all came in just a few minutes late, so you might not have heard to put your name in the chat. If you would like to read, please speak up. You are more than welcome to.
Okay, I have one.
Great.
But Linda, you may never, ever mention this to my sisters or the neighbors.
We can't wait to hear this one.
We love gossip at Right.
Yeah, and it is a little long. Okay. Tiki watches silently from the corner by the sliding glass door, his dark wood eyes the size of dinner plates, taking in every detail of motion in the house. Spider plants obscure his view of the birds chirping in the sun outside, while philodendron leaves mask the flow of water over his tongue into the carved bowl that sits on a pedestal near his belly. He looks forward to Saturdays, when the sliding glass door is opened and he can feel the air gently tossing the plant leaves, reminding him of his first days on display in the garden center at Sears and Roebuck. Tiki's life began in a factory in Hawaii. Workers carved him from a tree, sanded and varnished him, and threaded a tube through his body. He was bought in 1962, and the last time he knew humidity was in the bowels of a ship filled with crates and boxes of a family moving to New Mexico. For more than 60 years, he has only known the painfully dry desert air and dust of this place. The first woman who owned him never dusted him. Whenever they had guests, her husband would dust him and clean the mold from the bucket inside his pedestal, where the recirculating pump moves water from the bowl down through a tube and back up inside his belly to run out on his tongue again. For a brief time, he would be comfortable. Then every splinter of his wooden body would clog with cat fur and dirt again. From the corner of the living room, Tiki watched the woman's children play with toys and pretend to be ballerinas dancing to music that came from a blonde speaker that was taller than he. Sometimes they would put a skirt over his bowl and include him in their games. The house reeked of cat urine. The big orange cat was especially guilty of backing up to the blonde furniture and wriggling its tail as it marked territory. Sometimes the gray and white striped one would competitively mark the same spot. In self-defense, Tiki sprayed water at the horrid creatures, splashing water over his tongue to dissuade them from getting within tail reach of his wooden body. The children got bigger and quit including Tiki in their fantasies. They brought home teenage boys who stared in wonder at him as they held their noses to block the cat smell. Once, Tiki got picked up and loaded in a car. Teenagers cleaned him and replaced his bucket and pump. He was carried to a place with loud music and lots of couples in suits and long dresses posed for pictures with him, with leis around their necks. He was sad when they took him back to the house. Gradually, the house became increasingly unpleasant and no one came to visit anymore. The man stopped cleaning his pump. The cat fur and mold clogged his pump's propellers and they stopped turning, allowing the water in the bucket and tube to stagnate and grow algae. Piles of newspapers and magazines and butter tubs and soup cans obscured Tiki's view of the floor. The teenagers moved away and took their busy lives with them. Tiki missed watching them rush about and fight over music and boys. The woman brought home clothes and kitchen gadgets and art and books and newspapers, and the mountains around him grew. Cats left dead rodents at Tiki's base like offerings to a god. They rotted into little skeletons around his pedestal. The man disappeared from the house, and the woman spent days crying in her filth piles. Tiki missed the old friend who used to clean him. The house became silent without the man's classical music on the stereo and the banter between the man and woman gone. The woman and the cats went away about a year later, but Tiki remained mired in filth and rot in his living room. It was a confusing time sitting by himself watching spiders build elaborate cobwebs that caught dust. He was alone, pondering the days as the sun rose and set, silence, covered in so much dust he felt as though he had been buried. Then the woman's daughter came. She wrapped him gently in blankets and put him in a truck. The swaying of the truck reminded him of the ship that took him from Honolulu. He wondered if he was going back home, but the journey was much shorter. When she unpacked him from the blankets, he was in a new living room. The air was still dry, but there were green plants and open spaces and brown leather furniture. He shuddered with pleasure as she gently dusted and vacuumed and cleaned every crevasse in his wood until all the fur and dirt and spiders were gone. When she rubbed oil into his wood until it expanded and the cracks healed, he remembered how he felt in the factory as they formed his features. She set him on a clean floor with a new bucket, and refreshing clear water ran through his tube for the first time in decades. Tiki sits among his plants and watches as she vacuums the dust away every day. There are no cats, no newspapers, no piles of filth. The air is still dry, but there is no stench to it. The oil keeps his wood from hurting. As he listens to the music she plays, he thinks to himself, how did this woman come from the other?
That was lovely. Thank you, Nancy. I love that you gave Tiki the dignity of being a character. You like elevated him. It's really lovely.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was
Oh,
really beautiful. I love the humanness that you brought to him and that his wood hurt. Oh, that really there were so many parts to it that I enjoyed and really hit me. So thank you so much for sharing.
I also love that you took something that a lot of people would think of as sort of a silly object and you gave it like tenderness and depth and feeling. And like, yeah, that was really lovely. I really liked that. I want to invite everyone who read tonight. I'm putting my email address in the chat to please submit to the Santa Fe Literary Review. And that includes you, Val. But everybody who read tonight, seriously, our submissions aren't open yet. They don't open until July, but they'll be open until the end of October. So if you sign up for next semester's RIGEN, you'll hear this again. I'll mention it again. But yeah, please submit. Y'all shared some really wonderful work tonight. I'm the fiction editor, so I get to choose what stories go in there. If it's a poem, I won't have control over it. But feel free to shoot me an email and ask me any questions or whatever you'd like to do. And I hope that I get to see some of y'all's work later this year in the magazine.
And also just a reminder, Alfredo is putting together something. We'll see what it becomes. He asked us to submit work to him. And I don't have the date, but I do have his email address. I just put it in the chat. So if you have something, I mean, it sounds like all of us were inspired by him this evening. And so sending your work to him so he can include it and compile it, that would be wonderful. I'm curious to see what he puts together. So
I think he said by the end of May.
end of May. Okay, thank you,
I'm
Linda.
pretty sure that's what he said.
I wanted to say that, but
Yeah,
I-
I'm pretty sure that's what I wrote down, but I
great.
don't want to swear to it, but people wouldn't want to miss a deadline if they're thinking June or
Yeah,
Right.
that
Would
sounds
you
right.
remind me again of what he's going to do?
He said he's putting together an anthology or something just based on what we produced based on his prompts.
So I think it wouldn't be like a widely published anthology. I think he was
No.
just going to put together a document for us to sort of share with
Each
the
other.
people who were here. Yeah. So you would still be able to publish your work with Santa Fe Literary Review afterward. Just putting that out there.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you all so much. Is there anything else before we sort of close up for the night and for the semester before we wish everyone a
Yeah.
wonderful summer?
It was great. I
This has
really
been great. Yeah.
enjoy being in a comfortable group of people where we can share and learn. And I know Alfredo said last week not to knock your own work, and it's very easy to do that when you're alone. But this group makes it comfortable. So to share and learn. So thank you very much for that opportunity.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for being
Yeah,
here to take advantage
absolutely.
of it. That's
And
why we're
this is,
doing it. So I'm glad it's working.
Oh, yeah.
this is Emily. I'm just gonna thank both Austin and Val for all the work they put into this series. It really means a lot, and I've enjoyed writing exercises. I've enjoyed listening. I'm sorry I didn't have anything tonight. I've been doing a lot of writing, but not for this 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 right now.
Well, and thank you for all of your support, Emily. Val and I are the only ones who know, I guess. Emily is one of our biggest supports at SFCC. She is a huge part of helping make this happen. So thank you right back, Emily. I'm not sure we would be able to do it without you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But really is I've been enjoying listening to all the people, and I'm going to actually use Alfredo's email to send him a message, because there's been twice now, whereas I have a thought, we signed out. And one of them I wanted to share with him, he was talking about basketball in Milwaukee, and my husband taught for 14 years in Pecos, and I have to tell you, Friday night basketball games or basketball games in northern New Mexico, if you have never experienced it, you have to go to one. And he captured a lot of the expressions that we heard all the time. The people would they'd shout out, and especially the northern New Mexico expressions. Yeah, it was very. I enjoyed everybody's readings. I enjoyed Adele's. I enjoyed his readings. I thought it was very good. So I just wanted to share that, and I've enjoyed hearing from the people in this group. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. And I'm sure Alfredo will be delighted to hear about that. I can see him lighting up when he reads your email.
Yeah, because so many of those words. I don't know. Is there anybody else online that was from Milwaukee or knows about those games or anything? Well, one of the expressions he used, and is it Ruben Cabos who's got the Northern New Mexico Dictionary? But there's expressions like when somebody, you know, gets that ball in the hoop and it's not expected, and you hear people going sapo, which in northern New Mexico means lucky, but it has a different translation in other Spanish, other places. So I found it really just those little words that he used, because we'd hear so many of them all the time, and I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, thank you for being here, Emily. Anything else before we wrap it up? No? Thank you all for being here so much. Val and I appreciate your support so much. And we love doing this. So thank you for loving it when we give it to you. We're glad to have people there to accept this gift. And please spread the word over the summer. We will be back in the fall going strong. And I think our first reading in the fall, I'm pretty sure I can say this. I think our first reading in the fall is going to be the end of August. So make sure that you're available those last 2 Wednesdays in August so that we can meet up.
And we'll look forward to seeing you then. Have a good summer, everyone.
Val, I know it's not part of this series, but maybe you wanted to share something that's going to be happening this summer also through the library.
We
Oh.
are going to do a reading with Miriam Sagan. I'll actually send out an announcement to this email list. It will be July 31st at 5 o'clock. So that's a Thursday at 5 o'clock. And she has a new book out called Uncollected Poems, and she's going to read from that. And she always offers generous time, advice, and inspiration to writers after she reads. So I encourage you to attend that. So I'll send that information out to this list as well. So
Thank you
For
for
those of you
sharing.
who, for those of you who don't know, Miriam Sagan basically founded and built the creative writing program at SFCC, and she used to run it single-handedly. She's a very famous local poet who has worked with a ton of students in New Mexico and has a big following here. So just FYI, she's really great. We adore her. Well,
thank you
cool.
all. We'll
Thank
see
you
you
all so
again
much.
soon. Take
Have a
care.
great summer.
Keep writing.
Applause for everybody who participated. Yay.
Yay.
Thank
I know. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate you putting yourself out there like that. Thanks for
Thank
sharing
you.
your work with us.
I loved the readings. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.